Have you gone on a train journey? Everybody must have gone on a train journey. And when you are going in a train, you look outside. There are so many sights. You will see people hurrying. There may be some people, some vendors who are selling sweets and books. There would be children playing, running around in the station. There would be adults trying to keep them quiet. And as you pass stations, the name would be written of every station, and you know this and this is such and such a place. Sometimes it's raining, and there is that motion of the train, and you are lulled into a sort of daydream as you look out. And there's a lot of beauty of nature. You see green trees. There are places which are so like a postcard, and you wonder, is this real? Are these forests? So many trees are actually here. So many sights are there. There would be people who are dressed up maybe to go for a wedding. So you would also see traditional cultural pictures, little stories. You can see a mother going after her child, calling him back, or school children waiting in their school uniforms. So many sights are there. Today we'll have a poem about the railway carriage, written by the Scottish writer R.L. Stevenson. So let's see. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. All of the sides of the hills and the plain fly as thick as driving rain. And ever again, in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. So here we see in this poem, the poet is telling us about the various sights that he, as a child, he's talking about his childhood memories. The premise of the poem is that R.L. Stevenson, at a later period in life, while he was sick, wrote down the autobiographical songs of his childhood, which he enjoyed at his grandfather's house in his own village. So here the poet is describing through a child's eyes how a railway journey will feel. So he says, it's faster than fairies, faster than witches. So fairies, we know, go on their golden shimmering wings. They fly so fast. Anybody who has written Enid Blyton knows exactly how fast a fairy will fly. And witches on their brooms with their black cats, they also zip through the air. But the railway carriage, according to the child, is faster than fairies and faster than witches. Bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, these are the sights that the child is seeing. For a moment, there are houses, there are hedges, there are ditches, there are bridges. And the cattle, there is horses and cattle, the cows, the sheep, the horses. We can see that there are farmlands on the sides of both sides. And through the window, the child can see the horses and the cows. They're just charging. They are charging as if they were troops in a battle. Troops in a battle is soldiers in a battle. As if a group of soldiers would charge towards the enemies. Same way the cattle is rushing, maybe homeward, maybe to graze. All the sides of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain, as if it is fast rain that is just falling on the ground. All the sides of the hill, there would be trees on the hill, there would be greenery, there would be flowers. And on the plains too, maybe there are people walking, there are horse carriages going. So there are so many sights, children playing ball. All these sights are just passing so fast. And ever again, in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. So as if it is in the wink of an eye, all this denotes the fastness of the railway carriage and the various sights that the poet can see. Painted stations whistle by. He feels that the painted stations are just whistling by. That is, each place, each station, there would be the board put up telling the passenger which station has come up. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and there is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. So again, the poet says that on one side he can see a child who is climbing, who is clambering up some hedge. He's scrambling up and he is gathering brambles, or that could be any berries, or some he's picking berries, you can say bird cherries, or brambles, little fruits, blueberries that are found in the bushes. He is collecting them. Here is a tramp. There is a tramp who is aimless. He is just watching the passengers in the train. He's just standing there and staring. He's just gazing. And then there is the green for stringing the daisies. That is, people would be sitting there and they would be stringing together daisies with the green. Just like we have jasmine flowers that are strung together, marigolds are strung together to make garlands for women to put in their hair, or children to play, or use to decorate rooms or temples or churches. So these kind of, same way here we see the daisies are being strung together. There will be a few people sitting there and doing that. That is one of the sights that the poet is seeing. Here is a cart run away on the road, limping along with man and load. A cart has just, gone down. Maybe it is downhill and the cart is just rushing along. The man who is pushing is also running along with the cart. There is a load on the cart. Maybe the man is going to sell some vegetables, or he is taking some utensils or material to any house, or he is going generally as a vendor, maybe selling toys or anywhere. And here is a mill and there is a river. So on one side there is a mill, on another side there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. So each thing is just a glimpse. So here the poet is telling us all the fast visions or all the occurrences that happen in a railway carriage. So let's see the rhyming words. There is witches, ditches, battle, cattle, plain, rain, I by, scrambles, brambles, gazes, daisies, road, load, river, ever. So these are all the rhyming words. Then some of the devices used we can see is imagery. Definitely there is a lot of imagery, and there are horses, there are rivers, there are trees, there is a child scrambling, there is a tramp gazing. Then there is metaphor, along, charging along like troops in a battle. The cattle is compared to like troops in a battle. Then so these are the devices used. And one very important thing about this poem is the rhyme scheme and the syntax of the poem gives you the feeling of going in a train. This is something very beautiful about Stevenson's poem. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches. This is to denote the movement of the train. The syntax shows us the movement of the train. So that is the feeling given here. So R.L. Stevenson is a very famous Scottish poet. He's an incredible children's writer. Some of his stories, which I feel should be there on every child's reading list. One is The Kidnapped. One is Treasure Island. Another one is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. These are all coming of age works which show the transition. If you look at Treasure Island, we see Jim Hawkins, a little child, is going into a seafaring world of adventure. The boy becomes a man. He goes through all those heroic adventures. In Kidnapped, also, we see the protagonist is going through a Scottish political warfare and coming out, emerging out a man ready to take his inheritance and his role in the world. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is an iconic novel which is about adventure, about fearlessness, and also about the good and bad that is residing in mankind. It is a psychological thriller. So these are all stories that denote adventure and fearlessness. Even his poem, this poem, Railway Carriage, shows a sort of fearless adventure of looking out into the world. And when you children travel, when you go in a car, when you go in a railway carriage, look out. There are so many sights in this world, so many beautiful sights claiming you to see it. Do not look at your gadgets. Don't look at your phone or your screen that is in your hand, but look out of the window. An assignment for today is to find a poem or any such piece of literature that is about movement. The importance of this poem is very much movement. Like, painted stations whistle by, each a glimpse and gone forever. So this is about movement. One example that I can give you is W.H. Auden's Night Mail. There is a night mail crossing the border, bringing the check and the postal order. Letters for the rich, letters for the poor, the shop at the corner, the girl next door. So this is also the night mail coming into Scotland, and the people are waiting for letters. So this poem also has the sort of syntax and rhyme scheme to show how the night mail is traveling and coming. So today's assignment is find a poem about movement. Thank you. From a Railway Carriage by Robert Louis Stevenson. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle, all of the sides of the hill and the plain, fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles, all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and there is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever.